I felt like I wasted my time. I felt like this was an hour you were never going to get back.
So be it, Jedi.
What's going on, guys? Back in another video. May 4th, Tales of the Empire dropped, a series of shorts on Disney Plus. And after I watched it, I wondered, why did they even make it? Now, I made a video previously before this show dropped thinking it could be good, thinking maybe the future of animated Star Wars is these little series of shorts uh, focusing on a couple of characters and kind of expanding on their story. And I was kind of skeptical on Barriss Offee and Morgan Elsbeth from the get-go because, I mean, who cares in the grand scheme of things? If you're going to tell a story about the Empire, I think there could be much more interesting stories except for these two characters. As I was watching this, I was, of course, impressed by the animation. I think the animation is beautiful at this point. They've progressed so much since 2008, and I'm always going to commend them on that. I just felt like it was a nothing burger. It felt like, why even tell the story? We see Morgan Elsbeth, and of course, seeing her as a Night Sister in Grievous was cool, but that's just like, at this point, member berries. Like, of course, Grievous is cool. Of course, Vader is cool. Of course, all the bad guys are cool. That's what we love Star Wars for. But then you see her want to join the Empire for revenge and talking to Thrawn. And, I'm so disdainful at this point because they'll have Captain Pelion and Rook, Thrawn's bodyguard, which of course originated in the expanding universe in the Timothy Zahn trilogy. But they're giving this half canon, half EU, where they're mixing the canon and taking elements from here and leaving others behind. And I don't like that at all because, Thrawn's original story of how he joined the Empire was written over 20 years ago. Captain Pelion is a big character in the expanding universe. Of course, spoilers, Rook is the one that kills him because the Nogri, his species, were betrayed and sort of led along by Thrawn this whole time. So I just don't like the idea of this little sprinkling a little bit of EU here and there. You just leave it out or include it entirely. So to see Morgan Elsbeth, who is apparently, I don't know, were they insinuating that she was responsible for the TIE Defender? I don't know. And then we see her, doing her thing on the planet Corvus that we saw in The Mandalorian. I just felt like, out of all the characters that are evil or of the Empire, like, why focus on a character that's already dead? You had your time to expand upon her, in live action, and which I think she was an interesting villain in Mando season 2. But then you bring her into Ahsoka and give her these superpowers, this power up to just kill her. I don't know. So that's kind of how I felt about the Morgan Elsbeth thing. Now, Barriss Offee, which was kind of the one I was more excited for, I guess, so to speak. Last we saw Barriss Offee, she was in prison for framing Ahsoka and bombing the Jedi Temple. She got her ass whipped by Anakin, so, like, she's not a good person. So we see her becoming an Inquisitor, obviously. And they're sort of trying to indoctrinate her and turn her to the dark side, and apparently it doesn't work. We see Lynn, the fourth sister, I don't even know. We see Lynn, who is the Inquisitor that we saw in Kenobi, and she's kind of sort of trying to, guide her, be her mentor down the dark path or whatever. And we see, of course, Barriss's true colors when she's trying to help this child. She's trying to help, other people. And by the conclusion of the story, she's a good guy. She's redeemed. Like, no, like, I'm not going to believe that for a minute. Like, maybe she felt bad for bombing the Jedi Temple, but it just makes no sense for every character we see to be redeemable, to be a good guy, that everybody makes mistakes and has to be redeemed. Like, yeah, of course, Anakin Skywalker was redeemed in Darth Vader because that's the story. That's the story of Star Wars. But, like, sometimes people are just shitty people. Sometimes people need to make their bed and lie in it. Like, I'm sorry, I don't accept Barriss's redemption or she's a Force healer now. I just feel like I wasted my time watching it. I was hopefully optimistic towards it, but at the same time, it's like, Tales of the Jedi was actually good. We got to see Dooku and some Ahsoka. Like, Dooku's story is obviously so much more compelling than either of the stories we've gotten. So, like, you're going to tell two stories about characters that really nobody cares about. I mean, if you liked it, by all means, more power to you. I'm not want to piss in your Cheerios or rain on your parade. I just didn't like it. And I've reached the point now where I'm just going to stop consuming any Disney Star Wars. I'm just going to stop watching their shows, because if it's going to leave me with a negative feeling or a negative opinion about it, why? I mean, the world and life is already so negative as it is. Why should I associate that with something that I love, that being Star Wars? So, like, I've already decided, I mean, prior to even watching this, that I'm not going to watch The Acolyte. If I was to watch it, it would just bring on a whole nother level of disdain that I refuse to submit myself to. That's why I escape into the expanded universe. That's why I focus on, you know, the things that I love about Star Wars. The difference between Star Wars now and Star Wars up until 2012, including the expanded universe, is Star Wars then was made with love and respect. And the people that told the stories gave a shit about the stories they were telling. They cared about the source material. They respected it. They respected George. They respected the legacy of these characters. And now they don't. Some might. You know, The Bad Batch was good. I'll praise that. And maybe in the future I'll talk about, you know, the show overall. But it's really inconsistent, and it's really like a 90-10 split with good Star Wars versus bad. They just don't care. They just want to make money. And by all means, you paid $4 billion for it. I want you to make money too. But you just don't care. It's a commodity to you. It's something, it's a tool to make money, not something you're putting passion into, not something you're putting respect into. Disney's ultimate goal, in my perspective, my crazy tinfoil hat wearing headcanon, is they want to destroy Star Wars so they can rebuild it from the ground up in their image. So they can make Star Wars about them, their beliefs, their political ideology, and what have you. They've already attempted to do that with the sequel trilogy. Who knows what the future will hold? It ain't looking good for them. For me, I don't care. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to let it affect me. This was, as I said, a waste of time, and I'm disappointed that I wasted that time, but now I'm making this lovely content for you so that maybe you could share your thoughts and your opinions of the show, or Disney as a whole, or Star Wars as a whole, in the comments below. I'd appreciate it if you did. Thanks for watching. If you aren't subscribed, hey, do that too if you want. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.